All right, guys, today we are going to go through amendment number 1. This is a document that you will use on just about 100% of your transactions, and it's the document that we use to amend the contract. And there are several different ways that you can use it, and I will explain that to you here in this video. Number 1 deals with just a change in sales price. If for some reason you have changed the sales price after you've executed a contract, this is where you would do that. That would be number 1 here. If you've adjusted anything in that, that's where you put it. Number 2 deals with after an inspection, after the option period, or excuse me, during the option period, when you're working through a repair list. This is where you would use this form. You can list out the things that you're asking for. For example, if you are asking them to check the HVAC system, you could write something like that here. Something of that nature you could write here, and of course you could just keep going. A lot of times this section right here is not big enough, so what you would do is write see attachment, and you could use a Word doc to attach to this amendment here if there is not enough space to mention the things that you're asking for during a repair amendment. And number 3, the date in paragraph 9 of the contract. This is the paragraph that states the closing date on the contract. If you are changing the closing date, this is where you would do that. And you would choose that, and that would be it there. Oops, sorry, delete all this. Number 4, the amount in paragraph 12A 1B of the contract is changed to. So this is the section for seller concession on the contract, the original contract, if that is changed or if this is where you're asking for that. Let's say in lieu of repairs, you are using, they're going to give you $2,000 in seller concession. This is where you would put something like that. Number 5, the cost of lender required repairs and treatment as itemized on the attached list will be paid as follows. This is just if it was $500 that the seller was paying and $500 that the buyer were paying for, again, lender required repairs. This is rare. Sometimes it can happen with a FHA or a VA loan, but it's very rare that you'll ever use number 5. All right, number 6. The buyer has paid seller an additional option fee of for an extension of the unrestricted right to terminate the contract on or before 5 p.m. on this date, and the option fee will. So if there is a reason for you to extend the option, by law we are supposed to give them more money towards that. It should be a considerable amount. I will say I have a lot of people that will put $1 in there. $10 would be a better amount to go in there. I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of times it doesn't even get changed of hands if it's used, but again, by law we're supposed to put some considerable amount in this section, and this is where you would pick the change in date, and the option fee will be credited back to the sales price. Will or will not, generally it's will. So like I said, sometimes people put $1 here. We're supposed to put more. Again, remember, most of the time it's only $100 total that the original option fee was for. So if you're just extending for 2 or 3 days, you can see why you really wouldn't need a considerable amount of money. Okay, and number 7, the buyer waives the unrestricted right to terminate the contract for which the option fee was paid. So at times, if I'm negotiating a contract and we are, let's say, on day 4 of the option period, and they're asking for some repairs, and we were kind of negotiating a little bit, I will use this tactic here to just make sure that look, if we agree to fixing these things, that you're going to end the option period and move forward with the contract. So having them agree to this is a smart thing to do. And if they do agree to it, then again, if there were 7 days, they're stating that we're not going all the way to the 7 days. We are comfortable with ending the option period today. All right, number 8, the date of the buyer given written notice to the seller and buyer can obtain buyer approval set forth in the third-party financing addendum is changed too. So this is, again, just another date. Generally not used really for much ever, but if that does need to be lengthened, again, most of the time it's anywhere from 14 to 21 days. If you need more days for that, they need more days, then this is where you would adjust that. And then the last one, number 9, basically other modifications. Anything that doesn't fit in these first 8 sections here, this is where you would try to address this. And again, remember, we are not lawyers. We are not trying to act like lawyers, but if we need to talk about something or use a section that doesn't really fit, this is where you would describe and put it here. And again, this is another document that needs to be executed just like the original contract was. So once both parties have signed, this document will need to be executed. And that is generally it. Please remember that once you have executed the original 1-to-4 family contract, you are not supposed to add anything to that document. So this is where we adjust anything on that contract that we need to deal with. We use the amendment number 1 for that. All right, I hope that helps.